Rajivji, can we? Ashish bhai,
Yes, please start. Please start.
good afternoon, all the esteemed members and students of our profession. It is my proud privilege to that we have amongst us for the today's webinar on MSME, the new age catalyst for Indian economy. Honorable Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, who will be joining shortly, along with Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, we have Mr. Rajiv Chawla, Chairman of Integrated Association of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises of India. I will briefly introduce Mr. Rajiv Chawla ji. Mr. Rajiv Chawla is the founder and chairman of Jayalar Group of Industries, engaged in manufacturing of auto components, electrical and white goods, molds and mold products. He is the chairman of Integrated Association of MSME of India, India's largest SME network and a global recognized institutions created and run by the enterprises. IM SME of India has been awarded first prize as the most responsible business organization at the national level in the year 2017. Quality Council of India has given its gold rating as a national level business member organization. He is the member of the Haryana MSME Facilitation Council to resolve the issue of delayed payments to MSME located in the state of Haryana. He is the chief mentor at the one of its SME Habitat Center in India called Basics. With this brief introduction, sir, I welcome you to today's webinar and I would request you to kindly take it forward. Thank you, Rajiv.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, my dear friends, the professionals from across India, the very learned professionals from a very sacred mission, and that I call the company secretaries. And thank you so much, Ashish Galji, for this opportunity to interact with the world of professionals. Friends, honestly, and I must admit before I start, that at the time when I started my career as a self-employed person, and I set up my own micro unit about 30 years back, there was very little hand-holding done. And it took me almost 30 years to reach where I am today. And now when I look back, I realize that I would have worked only for 5 years. 25 years I spent trying to find what to do, how to do, what are compliances, how to set up a company, whether I should be a proprietorship or partnership or private limited, if yes, how, and which is the right way, which is the right bank for me, what are the various other statutory things that an entrepreneur needs to be done. So it's been 25 years of struggle and trying to find one's roadmap or one's way forward, and 5 years of work. And today when I look back, I realize that I could have achieved in 5 years what took me 30. And all I would have needed at that time would be the right hand holding or the roadmap. I believe that professionals from your institution can play this very critical role for the MSMEs in you become the mentors to the MSME sector. If you can handhold them, I'm sure they'll achieve in 5 years what took me 30. And I believe this is what is very, very critical, especially at a time like this. And today's presentation, which I have, which of course I would be presenting to you after the Honorable Minister speaks. This presentation focuses actually on what MSMEs are and what is their real struggle and pain in today's time, and what is it that they require to make India Atmanirbhar, self-reliant, as Honorable Prime Minister wants, and what is the role that that company secretaries or professionals can play in help them achieve with this objective. So my presentation is practically in three parts: the pains of today's SMEs, the opportunities for them, what they need to do and understand, and then how professionals can support them. And I hope that I would add some value. You already are very learned. I'm sure you have vast experience and a lot of knowledge about various things that we consult you on day-to-day basis. But beyond that, I would say, can you widen your role? Can you become my business coach? A step beyond what you are presently prepared for. And I'm sure it is so easy for people from your profession to understand our requirements and then guide us for future. Can you and your institution play a hub and spoke role where an institution like ICSI could become a whole knowledge center where MSMEs and entrepreneurs could just come and you could connect them to the whole world of solutions. So I would like to see ICSI as a center that provides a one-stop solution service to entrepreneurs across India. And the MSMEs would definitely benefit from this. Needless to say that it would also be a huge opportunity for professionals like you, and you would be adding a lot of value to the nation, help us achieve a much better GDP. And today's title also, MSME, the new catalyst of the Indian economy, I think it is very aptly pointed. And the title is just apt for today's time. Idea is only to integrate the role of ICSI, today's professionals, with the requirements of the MSMEs. So the first step there, of course, is to understand your customer. So in some ways, you can call today's meeting also as understanding your customer. And believe me, MSMEs 99.999 maybe a percent of entrepreneurs and enterprises in India today are MSMEs, barring only a few with the new definition there of businesses up to 250 crore now are all medium. So you can say 99.99% businesses in India today are the MSMEs. So 99.99% of your customers are MSMEs. And therefore, it is best that you understand the requirements of the MSMEs and then provide solutions to them. So I'll try that in today's presentation, I give you the perspective of the MSME world. And so I'm grateful once again to Mr. Ashish Garg and Mr. Nageshwar Rao. And it's such a pleasure. And we'll, of course, carry forward with this discussion. Just a couple of more minutes, and we'll have our Honorable Minister today addressing this very prestigious platform of ICSI.
think in the meantime, Rajiv ji, Minister Saab will join. There are few things which we can discuss because, as you are aware, the company secretaries, we as a governance professional, are mostly dealing with the corporates in a company forms. But so many MSMEs are in proprietorship form and partnership form. We are also serving them in a one way or another way. But how company secretaries can play a value addition for those MSMEs in for the better governance?
See, uh, I think this is exactly what we're discussing today. Uh, what are my requirements what are my expectations from a coach or a professional? Let us say in business, there are some areas where which are my core areas. For example, I come from the manufacturing sector and I manufacture auto components. So, of course, for my manufacturing segment, for the technology that I use, the developments that I do, that of course would require trained professionals, engineers, and people from that area. So, that is my core area. Uh, I should actually be spending 80% of my time in my core area and only a few, 10-15% of my time in non-core areas. From the manufacturing. Unfortunately, the situation is that I spend 80% of my time in non-core areas. How to raise a bank fund, uh, going to the bank for additional enhancements, looking around for how to get a government subsidy, uh, how to get a hand holding in the pollution NOC, of course, compliances related to Ministry of Corporate Affairs, but a lot of other things, right from taxation and assessments, scrutinies that keep going, the labor issues, the labor laws, the labor compliances. Uh, so my point is, and then in between there would be some insurance claim that would be wrongfully rejected, and I need to contest that. There could be a bank unnecessarily demanding a pre-closure charge and against the RBI's guideline. And I would like to represent to banking ombudsman, for example, against the bank's decision. There could be some other, challenge that I could have to some issue with customs department, for example. So all these areas of governance, become extremely challenging. And as the SME on one hand graduates from micro to small and small to medium, instead of the entrepreneur paying more focused attention on core areas and market expansion, believe me, the minute we graduate from small to medium, 80% of our time is only in compliances and addressing the challenges posed to us. And there are so many departments. So sometimes it could be the customs, it could be query from exports, it could be bank, it could be other challenges, the payments getting stuck, IBC issues. So, all these today take away a lot of energy from an entrepreneur. And because typically an MSME would have grown from a micro to graduated above, it would be one person driven. For example, suppose someone is an engineer and comes from engineering background, sets up a small workshop. Or so let's say someone is an IT person and sets up an IT business, development business. He would not have any idea about income tax returns, income tax rates, other compliances, how to export, what to do when the payments get stuck up, things like those. So can I have a coach with me who takes care of my non-core business areas? And even today, after years of 30 years of experience in my own business, and incidentally, I had the opportunity to learn a lot. I was on the board of National Small Industries Corporation, Government of India, and SIC for 6 years, and I was also on the board of a bank for 4 years. So I have the privilege to learn from the institutions as well, and what are their expectations from the MSMEs and the other businesses. And so I could still gather a lot. And yet, for example, today I face a challenge when one of the bankers is trying to impose a foreclosure charge penalty on me. I have a 4 crore loan which I want to pre-close, and this bank is demanding 4%. That is 16 lakh rupees as foreclosure penalty. Now, RBI circular clearly says that variable rate of interest to an MSME, there should be no pre-closure charges. And this is a challenge that is there. And therefore, I need to contest it. Now, I know that it has to be contested at the banking ombudsman level. But then I know the way. But there could be hundreds, thousands of entrepreneurs who may not know the way and who may not know how to represent there. Whether you need a counsel or have you to do it online, or whether how to do the methodology. And then even if I know, point is, should I spend my time and energy there, or should I hand it over to a professional like you? So whether it is a wrong credit card balance wrongly showing in my CIBIL, whether it is a wrongly being imposed a penalty by a bank, whether it is some query from customs or exports, there are any number of issues that pull an entrepreneur away from core business. And I believe it's a national loss. So therefore, you would add huge value. I believe every entrepreneur must have a company secretary friend, a professional friend. And if this alliance happens, nothing like it, because you could be handling all the work related to an entrepreneur's secretarial services, representation services, contest services, and you could be my corporate advisor. And so therefore it is very important. So with whatever little experience I have gained in these years, I would be sharing with the professionals today afternoon. It will be a presentation of almost 40-45 minutes. I hope you will bear with it. But I'll reveal you very candidly what are my pains, and therefore you will be able to assess what you can do. And believe me, I am your biggest market. When company secretaries get together and they share their things with each other, it is actually, ultimately, you're also competitors. All of you are company professionals. And so it is great that I see that you don't treat yourselves as adversaries to each other or competitors to each other. You share knowledge and best practices. And this is the best thing about ICSI as a platform. But here, when you're talking to the MSME, I'm a customer. And I'm your largest, IMSME of India is your largest market, your gateway to the world of entrepreneurs. And believe me, those entrepreneurs are desperately looking for this kind of a professional friend. So the way sometimes we have best personal friends, business should also have great professional friends. And that is where you can. So this business in India, 6.3 crore entrepreneurs in India. And out of that, at least 1 crore be lot of potential to grow. And out of that, 50 lakh would already be from small and above. And out of that, 50,000 would be ready today to get listed at stock exchanges. So I'm just talking about fractions of percentages. And now you can see how huge the business opportunity there is for you. So my compliments to Ashish Garg and Nageshwar Raoji for bringing this world of opportunities to their fellow company secretaries.
Thank you so much. You have rightly said that company secretaries can be a MSME dost, MSME philosopher, MSME guide, or MSME coach. So definitely our institute and will work together and will come out with some easy reading material or some updates on regular basis on the MSME. So where those MSMEs who doesn't have the support of the professionals can take the benefit of that. But one thing which is a question of regularly coming, how this definition will increase the scope, because now this definition has a big change in the MSME. So how it will affect the business and overall economy?
All right. See, the definition has included a very large segment which were till yesterday considered large, and now they are in the ambit of medium. So the largest change that has happened is that a lot of previously large enterprises are now considered as medium. In fact, the scope of medium is so wide today that investment in plant and machinery from 10 crore to 50 crore, 50 crore worth of plant and machinery investment. And let me tell you, this investment excludes land, building, and export business also. Even export turnover is, not included in the turnover criteria. So investment of 50 lakh only in core machinery, other than land, building, and computers and other things that we consider. And then now they also have a turnover criteria of 250 crore. It is 50 crore to 250 crore turnover, and this excludes the export turnover. So, which actually could be very, very huge. There could be an enterprise making 1,000 crore rupees of export and doing, let us say, only 50, 60 crore local business could be considered small because export criteria is now excluded from there. So therefore, the definition has dramatically changed this thing. Having said this, I find a challenge. And that challenge is that while definition has been changed, the benefits to the medium sector are still not defined. So most of the benefits from the Ministry of MSME comes only for micro and small, not for the
Thank you, Rajiv ji. Honorable Minister has joined us. So good afternoon, sir. I'll go with my presidential speech, and then I'll request Minister sir to please guide our members and students, and then we'll go ahead with the program. So good afternoon, friends. Before I go into technicalities of today's topic, I would like to share a small story. Where this story connect with our topic of today is intriguing. So the story goes as follows. राम सेतु बनाने के लिए अपनी सेना के उत्साह, समर्पण और जुनून को देखकर सब लोग काफी खुश थे। सभी वानर सेतु निर्माण के कार्य में लग जाते और उसी वक्त एक गिलहरी भी थी जो मुंह से कंकड़ उठाकर नदी में डाल रही थी। उसे ऐसा बार बार करते हुए देख वानर देख रहे थे। कुछ देर बाद वानर गिलहरी का मजाक उड़ाने लगे। वानर कहता, ये गिलहरी तुम इतनी छोटी हो, समुद्र से दूर हो, कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि तुम पत्थरों के बीच में दब जाओ। यह सुनकर दूसरे वानर भी गिलहरी का मजाक बनाने लगते। गिलहरी यह सब सुनकर बहुत दुखी हो जाती। भगवान राम भी दूर से देख रहे थे। जैसे ही गिलहरी की नजर भगवान राम पर पड़ी, वह रोने लगी और भगवान राम के समीप पहुंची। परेशान गिलहरी श्री राम के वानरों से शिकायत करती है। तब राम खड़े होते हैं और कहते हैं वानर सेना को कि गिलहरी ने जिन कंकड़ों और छोटे पत्थरों को फेंका था, वो सब बड़े पत्थरों को एक दूसरे से जोड़ने का काम करते हैं। भगवान राम कहते हैं, अगर गिलहरी इन कंकड़ों को नहीं डालती तो तुम्हारे द्वारा फेंके गए सारे पत्थर इधर उधर बिखरे रहते। यह गिलहरी के द्वारा फेंके गए पत्थर ही थे जो इन्हें आपस में जोड़े हुए हैं। पुल बनाने के लिए गिलहरी का योगदान भी वानर सेना के समान अमूल्य है। यह कहकर भगवान राम बड़े ही प्यार से गिलहरी को अपने हाथ में उठाते हैं और गिलहरी की कार्य की सराहना करते हुए श्री राम उसकी पीठ पर बड़े ही प्यार से हाथ फेरने लगते हैं। आई बिलीव बाय यू वुड हैव रियलाइज्ड एंड कॉम्प्रिहेंडेड द लिंकेज between the story and our topic. When the Honorable Prime Minister had in his address gave his clarion call to the nation for making the nation Atmanirbhar, or as we could call it, self-reliant, his first call had been to the hard-working squirrels of his Sena, the micro, small and medium enterprises, which since independence and even before played the role of cement and concrete in bringing together and reinforcing the strength of the bigger building blocks of the today's Indian industry. The reason why I have dated back the presence of MSMEs to independence and pre-independence era is because if these enterprises had not been formally named and a dedicated legal structure had been enforced upon them even then, their contribution had been immense. The Indian khadi industry is the biggest example of that. The growth curve of Indian economy has been largely controlled by MSMEs. The sector is contributing 40% to the country's GDP and nearly 50% of country's export, thus proudly become the engine of livelihood of millions of people. Frankly, friends, MSME reminds me the something deep. We all must have been at some point of time visited beaches or would have been near the water. ध्यान से देखो तो हवा की एक लहर के साथ में सिर्फ एक लहर उठती है, थोड़ी देर बाद न जाने कैसे वो एक संख्या हजारों लहरों में तब्दील हो जाती है और जब तक समुद्र तट पर पहुंचती है उसका वेग असीमित होता है। आत्मनिर्भर के स्टिमुलस पैकेज की अगर बात करें, द फर्स्ट वेव दैट हैज बीन सेट इन मोशन इज दैट एमएसएमई रिफॉर्म्स, broadening the basic definition of MSMEs, providing them collateral free loans, and so on and so forth. Friends, I believe this one wave shall lead to ripple effect across all sectors and aspects of the Indian economy and even beyond. Coming to the standard questions that how we as professionals ask every time the government launches a new initiatives. How can we help? How can we support? What is expected of us? Friends, while we all, both as individual governance professionals and together as an institute, have always committed ourselves to stand shoulder to shoulder with the government and regulatory authorities and contribute ourselves wholeheartedly. I believe our guest of today, who is the Minister of Road Setu, and also handling MSMEs like small stone and sands. एक तरफ मुंबई पुणे एक्सप्रेस हाईवे है तो दूसरी तरफ वो छोटे छोटे राहों के मार्गदर्शक with their vast knowledge and years of experience in the field can guide us better as to their as well as expectations to the MSMEs from company secretaries. The beautiful structure Samadhan, Sambandh or Sampark under MSME is proof of the intention of government to support MSME in true sense. For an old proverb goes, little by little, little becomes a lot. इसी के साथ मैं आशीष गर्ग, भारतीय कंपनी सचिव संस्थान का राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष, हमारे माननीय मंत्री श्री नितिन गडकरी जी का हमारे सभी सदस्यों और विद्यार्थियों के सामने हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं और स्वागत करता हूं और उन्हें आमंत्रित करता हूं अपनी बात अपने सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स तक पहुंचाने के लिए। धन्यवाद सर।
All dear friends, it is a pleasure for me to interact with all of you. Presently, our country is facing crucial problems because of coronavirus. And because of coronavirus, we are also facing economic problem. War against coronavirus and economic war, both are parallel, and we need to find out the way out from all these problems which we are facing. But not only we are facing, the problems are facing throughout the world now. So first of all, my feeling is either we like it, may not like it, but we have to face the problem. We have to face the war. That for that purpose, we need positivity and self-confidence, which is very important. So to create self-confidence and positivity is the most important thing for this war. And I'm confident that with this strong strength, we will 100% win this war against coronavirus and also economic problem which we are facing. First of all, we need to understand the art of living with coronavirus, because presently in the whole world, we don't have any vaccine by which we can prevent the people from coronavirus. But due course of time, I feel that as early as possible, we'll get the solution of vaccine, which is going to resolve our problem. But up till now, we are trying to fight with this war. And now for the future, we are waiting for vaccine. And when the vaccine will be available, it will be really a great help for everybody that we will 100% resolve this problem. Regarding economic war, that is very important. India is the fastest growing economy, and actually the role of MSME is very important. It is the backbone of Indian economy. 29% of growth, GDP growth, is coming from MSME. 48% of our export is from MSME. And up till now, MSME creates 11 crore jobs. And now, if we want to eradicate poverty in the country, we need to create more employment potential. And employment potential is the mission mode challenge for the government. And it is only possible if you have more industries, more MSMEs. Without that, we cannot create employment potential. And that is the reason that we have village industry. Last up to the March, turnover was 88,000 crore. And now our ambition and planning is to make it 5 lakh crore within 2 years. In agriculture, rural, tribal, forest area, 110 aspirant districts, where we need to have more concentration to giving more priority for development for that area. All migrant people who are coming, they are coming particularly from the agriculture, rural, tribal, and particularly from 115 aspirant districts. We need to create more employment potential there. Some of the raw material which are available there. And so that is the basic thing that our approach for economy is. We need to increase export. At the same time, we need to reduce import. For that purpose, we need upgradation of technology. At the same time, we need foreign capital for our industry. Actually, for the industry, we need to reduce financial capital cost, power cost, labor cost, and production cost, logistic cost. Without reducing production cost by considering all these factors, we cannot be competitive in the export market. So now to increase more export is the most important priority for the government. And that is the concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat, that we have more export and less import. For the import substitute, we need to find out the way out, find out the appropriate technology. And today world is changing. The innovation, entrepreneurship, science, technology, research, skill, and successful experiences, we name it as knowledge. And that conversion of knowledge into wealth is the future for the country. And conversion of waste into wealth and conversion of knowledge into wealth. These are two important subjects which are very, very, very closing to my heart. Because these are the philosophy where we can change socio-economic transformation in the country. So today the role of MSME is very important. So we change the definition. From last 14 years, there was a discussion, but it was difficult to change the definition. The previous definition, there was two classification, that manufacturing. There are two classifications was there. One is manufacturing sector and other was service sector. Now we have merged these two sectors as a one sector, manufacturing and services. For micro, the investment in plant and machinery or equipment, that is investment up to 25 lakh. Now it is extended up to 1 crore. Then turnover, it was 10 lakh. Now it comes to 5 crore. The small scale, it is investment was rupees 5 crore. Now it is come to 10 crore. And the turnover, it was 2 crore, it comes to 50 crore. So medium, the investment was rupees 10 crore, coming to now it is 50 crore. And the turnover was 5 crore, it comes to 250 crores. And export is excluded from the three categories. So now I feel that it is to be really a good boost for MSME to take the advantage, and it is very important they should register their name. One of the important scheme is emergency credit line guarantee scheme, that is collateral free automatic loan for MSME. 100% credit guarantee to bank NBFCs on principal and interest. No need of collateral for taking loans, and rupees 3 lakh loan with 12 months moratorium on principal. Loans to be provided till 31st October 2020, and firms with 25 crore outstanding loans or annual turnover rupees 100 crore are eligible for schemes. No guarantee fee. The 45 lakh MSME will get this collateral free loan. So that is one of the very positive advantage to MSMEs. The distressed asset fund is very important because liquidity for stressed MSME is very important question. Actually, up to end of March, we have restructured 6 lakh MSMEs. And now we already increased this time limit up to 31st December. So we are expecting more than 25 lakhs MSME we will restructure in this time. The 20,000 crore liquidity through subordinate debt based scheme, 400 crore corpus already to deposit with deposited money 4,000 crore to CGTMSE to be provided by government, by which we can make availability of 20,000 crore liquidity fund. That is 1:5% we will get this fund to the bank. And now bank we will use this for giving equity to the MSME, those which is difficult for them for restructure as per the present law. So by adding this equity into the proprietor share, now they can be in position that bank can make the restructure of this MSME. At least 2 lakhs MSME will be restructured. The equity support to state MSME can be very much helpful, and that all MSME which are already in problem, they will get the advantage of this scheme. The fund of fund, that is equity infusion, 50,000 crore fund to be infused through equity mode of MSME. The corpus of 10,000 crore, but we are adding other funds in it. MSME must have viable and eligible business record. My idea is to making credit rating of MSMEs. Those who have good turnover in banks, good track record in income tax and GST, and on the basis of that, their export and their profitability, we will take it. We can give them credit rating. On the basis of that, the fund to expand capacity and getting list to the stock exchange. Before going to stock exchange, my idea is to make these are where National Stock Exchange, Mumbai Stock Exchange, there will be MSME Stock Exchange. And before going to stock exchange, we will give our 15% fund, equity fund to MSME. And after that, they will go to the capital market and they will raise the capital from the capital market. And because of adding of 15% equity in it, they will get the advantage for that. Now, the e-market is the idea, but we are working on it. Still, we don't have a appropriate solution for that. Just like Amazon and Alibaba, we are now planning to make a platform, e-platform for marketing for MSMEs. That is my idea. We are working on it. We will take the help from the private sector and we will finalize the scheme. The most important scheme which is now launched by the Prime Minister and which is very important, that is Champion Desk. This portal is already launched by the Prime Minister. The Ministry of MSME has launched Champions Portal on 9 July 2020 by the hands of the Prime Minister, a technology-driven control room cum management information system. Because we are already planning to make good schemes, but implementation is equally important. So the system utilizing modern IST tools is aimed at assisting Indian MSME march into big league as a national and global champions. The champion stands here for creation of harmonious application of modern process of increasing the output and national strength. The portal is basically for making the smaller units big by solving their grievances, encouraging, supporting and helping and handholding, and it is really one-stop shop solution to MSME industry. Till date, it is a great thing. Just we started at 9th May. And now I am giving at least 8 days before data that till date 20,461 grievances have been received, and out of them 16,019 grievances have been resolved. So this is very important. So we need your help that whenever the MSME is facing the problem, you tell them to take the advantage of this portal, which can be very much useful for MSME. The most important thing now it is for that we need to strengthen NBFCs, HFCs and MFIs. NBFCs, SPCAs, MFIs are finding it difficult to raise money in debt market. Rupees 30,000 crore special liquidity scheme is there. Already under the scheme, investment will be made in both the primary and secondary market transactions in invest grade debt paper on NBFCs, HPCS, and MFIs will supplement RBI and government measures to augment liquidity. Securities will be fully guaranteed by government, and this will provide liquidity support for NBFCs, SPC, and MFIs and mutual funds and create confidence in the market. The 45,000 crore partial credit guarantee scheme for NBFCs, that is very important. The NBFCs, SPCs, and MFIs with low credit rating require liquidity to fresh lending to MSMEs and individuals. The existing PCGS scheme to be extended to cover borrowings such as primary issuance of bonds, CPS, liability side of balance sheets of such entities. First, 20% of loss will be borne by the guarantor, that is Government of India, and fourth, AA paper and below including unrated paper eligible for investment, especially relevant for many MFIs. This scheme will result in liquidity of rupees 45,000 crore. At the same time, we have already decided, order is issued, that district cooperative bank, state cooperative bank, multi-schedule cooperative bank, NBFCs, and the nationalized bank, private bank, and all now the MSME schemes, the canvas is now, we are making it more broad, and now the all banks and cooperative banks also can finance under our schemes. So today government is giving the support to MSMEs, the maximum which is possible for the government. Now presently every sector is facing the problem. It is not only MSME or the industry. Some of the state government, they don't have money to pay the salary for next month. The national government revenue is also dropped. Banking system is also under stress. And the industry, MSME is also a crucial problem. The migrant labor issue is also equally important. There are a lot of people who are losing their jobs. So in a situation, it is the time for all of us, all stakeholders, that we need to come together, think together, and work together by taking care and preventive measure for everybody. I remember one of the Atal Bihari Vajpayee's kavita that कदम से कदम मिलाकर चलना होगा, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती, हम होंगे कामयाब. The positivity and self-confidence is very important. From particularly, I am expecting the people like you who are company secretaries. We need to, now our ranking given by the World Bank is increased, but still there is a red tapeism. We need to improve transparency, corruption-free system, and time-bound decision-making process. I have a lot of hatred for the people who are not taking decisions. Even I like people who can take the wrong decisions, but I dislike honest people who don't want to take the decision. And not taking decision or delaying in decisions is the bad habit in the system. The government is facing a lot of problem because of that. So first of all, in our whole system, I have already received your all agenda, which is very important. But the most important capital in industry is time. The people who are getting salary with every month, they will never understand what is the meaning of time. And not taking decision is most important problem for all the sectors, particularly the MSME. We are now facing the problem. So this is the time that someone is paying the dues timely, someone is not paying the dues timely, the problem is there. So the time for decision, time for payments, time for taking appropriate decision for marketing and manufacturing is very, very important. And that is the reason that we name it the people who are working on that line as a dynamic leader, as a creative leader, as a good entrepreneurship. I feel that this is the time the country needs this type of good dynamic leadership in the business, in the industry. So I have received your agenda some of the technical subjects are there, but your role is also equally important. I will take it this all subject to my ministry, and I will discuss this issue with my secretary. Once you, after this lockdown, come to Delhi, we will discuss the issue, and whatever your good suggestion, which I always have a principle, either you convince me or convince by me. So if you convince us, we will 100% cooperative and we will take the decision. Your role is very important. Support MSME, give them proper guidance. India's future is very bright. I am confident that with the all support of all the stakeholders like you, we will definitely going to achieve the goal of Prime Minister to make Indian economy of $5 trillion, and at the same time 100 lakh crores of infrastructure. We will transform India into a super economic power, number one country in the world. Obstacles are there, problems are there, and I feel that still we will definitely going to achieve our goal. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Dhanyavad, sir. I'll take one or two questions, and we know your time is very precious, so we'll proceed for the vote of thanks. Sir, one general questions we are receiving, that is there any planning to include the traders in the definition of MSME? Because services include, manufacturing is include, and so many traders are also having a large business and businesses, those who want to come under this definition.
Actually, I receive representation from them, but still I have to discuss this issue with my ministry. So I'm not in position to give the answer of this question. But I receive representation. After going to Delhi, we will discuss the issue. I always positive. But present law, whether it is possible or not, I have to verify. On the basis of that, we will try to take the decision.
Thank you, sir. And sir, one more general question is that banks are normally very rigid to giving this collateral-free loan to the MSMEs. Government is doing so much of work, but normally banks are resistant at their level. So how to overcome with this issue?
Actually, the banks who are not giving loan or not cooperating for MSMEs, my suggestion is kindly go onto our champion portal and just register their issue there. We will make the inquiry and we will see that they will get the loan.
Thank you so much, sir. With this words, I request Nagendra Raoji, our Vice President, to please present a vote of thanks to Honorable Minister, sir. Unmute yourself.
President, before I propose the vote of thanks, may I request for the release of e-book, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, no problem.
Nikhatji, please display the e-book. Sir, this is the book Impact Analysis of Turbulent Times of Company Secretaries. Our ICSI COE Center has come out with this publication, and our Central Council member, Shri Devin Deshpande ji, has worked on it. So we'll send you the copy to your office also, sir. Now I request Nagen ji to please go ahead.
Our Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways and MSME. Sir, you started with a very, very positive note, saying we have to be positive, we have to have the self-confidence, we should have the determination and perseverance to achieve the objective. The strong strength what we possess, and the art of living, how we should
आवाज गेला.
creating 11 crores jobs in MSME, and MSME playing a very important role for the purpose of eradicating poverty as well as providing new employment opportunities. You also highlighted upon the various financial stimulus which has been provided on account of COVID-19 and has always been constantly helping and supporting the MSMEs. I am sure with the various not only the financial stimulus, but also the various packages being launched, such as proposal for promoting of e-market linkage, MSME bank of ideas, as well as proposal to set an MSME gateway of unique digital platform, as well as the champion portal which was launched on 9th May 2020. I am sure हम सब कदम से कदम मिला के आगे हम बढ़ेंगे, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. I am sure the dream of the Prime Minister towards becoming the self-reliant India, dawning the new India, bright India, and also with the help of MSME and the great leadership and stewardship provided under your ministership, I am sure we will transform into a new India, into a new superpower of the world. Thank you very much for gracing the occasion and sharing your word of wisdom. Before we conclude, may I request Dr.
Hello.
Nikhar Khan to display the Shahid Ki Beti certificate, please.
क्या बात हो रहा है?
Sir, this is the Shahid Ki Beti certificate, what we give as a memento to our honorable chief guest and guests who come for our program. The amount is contributed towards the martyr's daughter for their education. I once again thank Shri Nitin Gadkarji for sparing his valuable time and being with us. Thank you. May I now request Shri Rajiv Chawla ji to kindly make his presentation, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nagendra Rao. Thank you so much, Mr. Ashish Garg, once again. It was really, really a pleasure to listen to Honorable Minister. And his presence really adds to, a lot of enthusiasm and motivation to all of us. In fact, but let me tell you that Nitin Gadkari ji, whichever ministry, whichever area he has, led, he has set his own milestones and his own benchmarks. So he is simply outstanding. And the fact that he is leading the MSME ministry today gives a lot of encouragement to us. Such a senior minister and who is so meaningful and so focused on the MSME sector, this is really fantastic. My compliments to everyone here. I'll begin with the presentation, and I'll bring my presentation here.
Please use share file option, not whiteboard option.
Yes, I had gone to the share option, ma'am, and
Share file option. Share file option.
yes, that's right. That is exactly what I'm doing, and it is taking perhaps a few seconds. I hope it does quickly. It says processing page, so just a couple of maybe 1 minute. Technology is something now that we all have to get used to. And I just hope that technology also gets used to us. So it is just uploading. I think 50% it is already showing it is uploaded. Just processing the page. I don't know why, but suddenly it says unable to share the document, and for reason best known to them.
Sir, I would request you kindly share with Ms. Nishat Khan. She will share till such time you can make your present.
Okay, should I just email this to your office?
Yes, yes, please.
If you can give me the email ID quickly, I'll just email within 1 second.
Yeah, vp@icsi.edu.
Just repeat, sir.
VP.
वाइस प्रेसिडेंट निकट का भी दो दो
No, I didn't get the email ID.
vp@icsi.edu.
Sir, it is V for this Nikhat has written in the chat box. Nikhat.khan@icsi.edu. You can read it into chat box.
Just 1 second, sir. I'll yes, vp@icsi.edu. Just 1 second.
Yes.
And simultaneously Nikhat.khan@icsi.edu. She has written in the chat box.
President, you can take 2, 3 questions in the
1 second,
meantime.
sir.
No, it will be done. No issues. It will take.
Then you can please take some questions in case there's something.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
So in the meantime, till this presentation is shared, one question which I have received is to ascertain the eligibility criteria on the basis of turnover and investments, whether export turnover includes deemed exports like SEZ and MOU. Issue, please just bear with us for some time. You are not audible. I think voice is lost. Rajiv ji, issue is resolved. You are not audible also. I think Nikhat Khan is calling you. Please pick up the call. There is some issue at your end of internet. Nikhat Khan is calling you. Just please pick the call. She is calling at your mobile. She will guide you. No, you are not audible. Rajiv ji, you are not audible. Still, you are not audible.
It's just logging out and logging in.
Okay. Yes, on Wednesday program will make the announcement, friends. Just a moment. So friends, in another webinar on Wednesday, we are having a session on youth for nation building by none other than the Honorable Governor of Pondicherry, retired IPS officer Kiran Bedi. So that program will start from 5:30 p.m. 10th of June, Wednesday. I think Rajji has joined back. Rajiv ji is joined back. Now presentation is there, but he is not audible. Nekat, please assist him again. He is not audible.
at all? Can you not?
Yeah.
Yes, now you are audible.
I'm audible?
Yes,
Yes.
now you are audible, Rajiv ji. Please
Okay,
go ahead.
great. Sorry, friends, and we'll quickly begin with the program now. Friends, imagine a cricket match. Imagine a cricket match, and in the first set of match, two teams play in the first innings. One scores 500 runs, the other team scores only 200 runs, and then begins the second innings. Between the first innings and the second innings, there is a rainfall. So in the second innings, the playing conditions change. Wicket is wet, ground is wet. So maybe in the first innings, it was the pace ball that did the magic. In the second innings, it could be the spin or the googly that will do the magic. Dear friends, life has now moved to the second innings. So post Corona, or in fact with Corona now, is the second innings that the world has to get ready for, and you and I need to play. And incidentally, this second innings is the beginning of a perfect storm. At a time when, for almost 3 months, the entire India has been in lockdown, at a time when everyone is to stay at home, all business cycles are closed, all except the bank interest. And that is the time when businesses look at a lot of uncertainty, with a lot of stress today, and I call it the setting of a perfect storm. And the MSMEs, which are always called the engines of growth, these MSMEs now face a breakdown. This engine faces a breakdown. Let's have a look at the future. And dear friends, if I take a look at the future, you realize that different sectors have different probabilities to revive. There are some sectors like medical, food processing, personal healthcare. These sectors have ability to come back very, very fast. And in fact, they have already thriven and done tremendous business in the present 3 months. And yet, there are sectors like tourism, like aviation, like automotives and construction that would still take a longer time to survive. If I look at the year 2021, and if I imagine the balance sheet of an entrepreneur in 2021, I realize that this year he would have a revenue of hardly 6 to 9 months against last year, with all expenses of 12 months. And therefore, I see almost every MSME in losses by the end of March 21. Honorable Prime Minister, when he announced a package for the MSME sector, he announced the package of 20 lakh crore, which is almost 10% of the GDP. And this package gave a lot of hope to the entrepreneurs. Prime Minister also mentioned about a new self-reliant India. And the whole idea about the new self-reliant India was a confident, responsible, self-reliant, and independent economy, independent India. And friends, when he talked about this, he mentioned 5 strong pillars: economy, which will grow exponentially; infrastructure, which will be India's hallmark; and then he talked about technology-driven India, a demography, and the demand that includes all the supply chain. We also mentioned about local becoming global and being vocal about local. Honorable Prime Minister announced 6 major steps. Honorable Minister of MSMEs recently in his speech also mentioned about these 6 steps. So I'll not go in detail over these. There's a package of 3 lakh crore, which is additional 20% emergency line of credit for which no additional collateral needs to be given. There is a subordinate debt for the stressed and the NPA MSMEs. There is a mother of funds along with the daughter of funds, which is for the high potential MSMEs for as infusion in infusion as equity. The definition of MSMEs has changed. The micro, small, and medium have a larger, bigger definition. The tenders up to 200 crore would only be for the domestic entrepreneurs. All government companies to pay dues within 45 days. And therefore, these packages, important measures are there to help the MSME sector. However, and I speak this as an entrepreneur, this is not a complete thing. I also focus upon what we missed. In fact, at a time like this, when the crisis is unprecedented, we were expecting unprecedented measures. We believe that unprecedented measures or phenomenal impact measures have not yet been undertaken. One is that we were expecting support beyond loans, maybe in the form of interest waiver. In fact, even the wage burden for the lockdown period was put upon the entrepreneurs themselves. And the relief measures for the Provident Fund also is limited only to the enterprises with less than 100 employees. 90% of the employees have salaries less than 15,000. We've also seen that consumption incentive is missing from the package to the consumer, because unless the consumer now goes to the market and spends, the markets will not revive. Then there is no investment incentive either. For example, earlier there was 2% of incentive on the basis of for the loans, the 2% subsidy. That scheme now has ended. So MSMEs were looking for, I don't know why, but the presentation keeps going back. And I'm really sorry for this mess up, but this technology is beyond my hand. And so MSMEs wanted interest moratorium. We were looking at 2% interest subvention scheme, which has ended. We were looking at more technology subsidy in the form of CLCSS, a new credit rating system to rate MSMEs, maybe a waiver of all the prepayment and foreclosure charges by the MSMEs who wish to pre-close their loans. Special schemes of MSME ministry have not yet started. The lean manufacturing scheme, zero defect, zero effect scheme. Some of these schemes are still pending, and therefore MSME sector is still looking at these schemes to come out from the government shelves. And there is some issue with the presentation, keep going back, and so I'll just take time. Also, this is the time when the entire nation is perhaps looking for a large campaign on self-employment, unemployment to self-employment, berozgar se swarozgar, because this is the year of job losses. And therefore, government must launch a massive entrepreneurship development program. What now we come to is what we call the second innings. And this second innings is extremely important. In the second innings, I see that there are large opportunities for the MSMEs, and especially in the areas of fitness and healthcare, from manufacturing PPE gears to a lot of other areas, because health is suddenly the focus. Second, incidentally, a very large area is the agriculture and the food processing sector, where huge opportunities lie. Third is the future of mobility. Perhaps the future of mobility could be back to a bicycle or to a motorcycle instead of traveling in a public transport. Maybe people like to travel individually on a bike or in a car. So mobility is really going to dramatically change, and maybe individual mobility is preferred. The world, of course, is looking at energy efficient and green technologies, infrastructure, roam, and construction. This is the focus of the government of India also, and they've announced a massive construction program of homes for migrant workers also. And therefore, and of course, e-commerce, the new services, skilling, IT sector, these are again the areas which have huge opportunity in the MSME world for businesses. Defense production is another area where MSME have a fixed role, they have a reservation, and then this is an area that offers huge opportunity for the manufacturing entrepreneurs. And then, of course, fintech, data analysis, artificial intelligence, the IT sector. This is what now is the new age business, which we see as huge opportunities coming our way. And yet, there are some things that have changed forever. And I would like to focus here also. The theme for 2020 is actually a new normal theme. Now there is a new normal theme that is coming into play. We have to unlearn a lot of old things and we have to learn new things. I'm sorry. One thing that we must remember is that things will never be the same again. There are some things, some social practices, some things that have changed forever, at least till a time when we see a sure, safe vaccine coming our way. Second is that from the first innings, we have got two great things. One is experience, and second is resources. So some of us have gained resources and experience from our first innings. However, remember the third thing, and it says that past success is no guarantee for future, and that is extremely important for us to understand. Once again, the PPT has tripped, and I don't know for whatever reason. I try to catch up again. Right. But the future, for a good future, we require two new things. One is new skills and new technology. And second is a lot of innovation. So these are very important things for entrepreneurs and professionals to understand if we want to step into the new world. Here is the role of new age professionals that I have specially defined, keeping today's audience in mind. Can you do complete MSME handholding? Can you become complete MSME business coach? This is one perspective that I would like the learned professionals to understand. We've written a beautiful program, and this program is called GAPS, the Growth Accelerator Program for Small Businesses. In this program, we understand that business, like a body, has acupressure points. And there are 10 acupressure points for businesses that I'm sharing with the professionals today so that you can prepare yourselves to become great business coaches tomorrow. One most important thing for business is that every business today has to be of world-class quality. If I don't give you world-class quality, I'm sure people would continue to buy made in Germany or made in China. So therefore, Indian businesses have to be of world-class quality. Second is productivity. Even if I give you the right quality, but if it is more expensive than a Chinese product, perhaps the consumers would still go there. So our MSMEs must be quality conscious and should also compete in pricing with their counterparts in the world. Third important thing is innovation in a business, because it is innovation that adds value in a business. Fourth important thing is brand building. We hardly create our brands. And that is where we would like professionals like you who handhold MSMEs and help them become brand in their own way. Fifth important thing is business must be scalable. So therefore, businesses must explore new markets while using new technologies. And that is where maybe you can tomorrow help businesses to find export markets, help them know which area in which country need our products. This is where professionals can add value to the MSME sector. Sixth critical area for business is financial literacy. Entrepreneurs need to be financially literate, but then this is not their core area. Someone is an engineer, another person is an IT professional. So different people come from different core areas. So professionals should handhold this financial literacy job for them, connecting them to banks, giving them alternate funding options, showing them the subordinate debt way, showing them the equity route, maybe hand-holding them to the SME stock exchanges tomorrow. This is an area where professionals should be hand-holding the entrepreneurs. Seventh critical area for any business is team building, training, retraining, giving new skills to the set of people. So whether it is my accountant who needs to be updated daily on the new GST compliances, whether it is a team that has to daily upload different returns on different portals, whether it is training of communication skills, technology skills, people from your profession can, of course, become knowledge partners and training partners of the MSME sector. Eighth important thing in business is that what you cannot do alone, do together. And therefore, small clusters become extremely important for businesses. So sometimes maybe one SME cannot afford a full-time company secretary or a full-time professional, but maybe a group of 5-6 entrepreneurs engage a company secretary who could handhold them in a cluster. Ninth important thing for business is that business must always connect with new laws, new compliances, a new cybersecurity arena, to manage the new cyber risks. So different succession planning. So all these are challenges that entrepreneurs face every day. Every day there's a new law on TDS, on TCS, on MCA, some new return that needs to be filed. So can you understand these aspects and handhold an entrepreneur in these non-core areas, which otherwise drain out a lot of energy from an enterprise? And this is one important aspect where I see professionals handholding MSMEs to the next level. 10th important thing for any business is to keep learning. The way you have ICSI and you are updating all your professionals and would-be professionals in the company secretarial world through these training programs. Unfortunately, in the world of entrepreneurs, there are no such programs. And not every entrepreneur updates himself or herself. While it is very critical for entrepreneurs to keep updating themselves, I believe that a good company secretary, a good professional can become a knowledge center and can keep updating a business on various aspects and thereby play a role of a knowledge partner to an MSME. How to execute this new role? While I've said lots of things, point is, how can a professional, how can ICSI, for example, execute this new role? And I believe it is through the hub and spoke model. Can a professional become the center of the knowledge and help MSME connect with various solutions that are around, with banking, credit, taxation, compliances, and other representations? This is an important, one small figure, but I'm sure this puts the professional in the center, how you can play the critical role and give all these solutions under one umbrella to MSMEs. For the MSMEs, there are 10 more lessons. Now, these lessons are for entrepreneurs. So I believe that even a self-employed professional is an entrepreneur. So whether it is a service sector enterprise or a manufacturing enterprise or a trading enterprise, these are 10 critical lessons that MSMEs must know. First is, it is a very critical year. And first, most important thing is to consolidate and financially restructure the enterprise. And it is very important to calculate the debts, because the debt burden, the interest burden has only been deferred for a few months. These have not been waived off. And therefore, entrepreneurs have to gear themselves up and see how they can minimize their debts in times to come, in these uncertain times. And professionals, of course, can handhold them and give them some services in this area. Second, technology will matter. Technology is the future. So whether you are a self-employed professional or a manufacturing professional or a service sector professional, unless you are using technology to reach out to your clients, doing their audits tomorrow through technology, many other areas, I believe it will not be possible for businesses to grow. So technology linkage is very, very important. I always say, and I repeat, that technology will not replace entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs who use technology will replace entrepreneurs who do not. Third important thing is that today's business requires new age skills. So whether you are a professional, you are a manufacturing enterprise, today I need new skills to run my business. And these skills that I need today were never taught to me in school or college. And that is why entrepreneurs have to engage whether professionals to train them or get pre-trained people to meet with the requirements of the future. Therefore, fourth important point is hire people smarter than you are. And this is my call to the MSMEs. It is important now for us to engage professionals on a board, take them as advisors, take them as counselors, because unless we have people brighter and smarter than us guiding us, we will not grow any further. Fifth important is ignorance is not bliss. It's suicide. So any entrepreneur who is ignorant of a government relief package coming or some new compliance that is the way, it can help. It can only close the business. Therefore, regular updation through knowledge centers is important. And who better than a professional who can guide and handhold an entrepreneur? Sixth important thing is choose your company. It matters which TV channel you watch, what kind of WhatsApp groups you've engaged yourself in, who are your think tanks, which training programs you attend, who are your thought leaders, whom do you follow on Twitter or on Facebook or social media. These things get ingrained into our minds and get enacted in our day-to-day actions. So choose your company, and who better than right professionals with whom we would love to be surrounded with. Seventh is time to go global. So not only protect your domestic markets, but also go global. And therefore, right professionals can connect me to through B2B platform or with other markets across the globe and explore areas where my services or products could be utilized. So can a professional help link an existing entrepreneur with different opportunities across the world? You can be the biggest linkage and therefore a very useful tool for the MSME sector. Eighth is sustainability. The world needs to be sustainable, green, efficient, waste needs to be checked. And again, a day-to-day entrepreneur would need connectivity with a lot of these opportunities and the new technologies that are coming in this area. Ninth is the speed of change. This is today the most important. And therefore, it is better, it is the faster today, the faster running enterprise that grabs the business. So it is not the size that matters, it is the speed that matters. And every entrepreneur has to understand. 10th important thing is that entrepreneurs need to invest in themselves. And one of the investments is roping in professionals, making professionals as part of your teams, engaging them so that these professionals can add value to an enterprise and help them save time, energy, and money. And if professionals can do it, I believe it is the right investment that would be coming our way. So the second innings has now begun. Trust the magic of new beginnings. Reset, refocus, restart. This is my call to all entrepreneurs in the MSME sector and to all professionals who are part of this world of company secretaries. On behalf of IMSME of India, I personally thank you for giving me this opportunity of sharing the world of MSMEs with all the professionals there. Thank you. This was my presentation today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajiv ji. There are many questions which are there. We just request you to kindly take those questions. The first question is, what are the various facilities or advantages to MSME while registering in TREDS platform?
So, in fact, I'll just mention 2-3 things. One important thing is that it is optional to register oneself as MSME. So it is still not mandatory in India for every micro and small business to register. The registration is optional. However, all the benefits are linked to registration. So any MSME that wants benefits of the sector has to register. So which means that the minute someone is looking at availing of the benefits, they have to register. Now, what are those benefits? For example, there was 2% interest subsidy. Incidentally, that has now closed, but that was valid till 31st of March. So if someone was a registered MSME on incremental loans, they would get 2% interest subsidy. Second, very important thing is the capital subsidy. The MSME manufacturing, the manufacturing units, they get 15% capital subsidy if they register themselves as MSME units for right modern technologies. Women entrepreneurs, whether they buy traditional technology or modern technology, there is a special category, women entrepreneurs, SC/ST entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs of the hilly states, hilly regions, entrepreneurs of the Naxalite infested districts. Those entrepreneurs in those districts and areas and women entrepreneurs, they get 15% capital subsidy on whatever technology they buy, whether traditional or modern. And this is so registration again is mandatory for that. Third important benefit as an MSME entrepreneur is that the payments have to be made within 45 days. And there is a special payment protection plan for them. So therefore, if one wants the protection from delayed payment, one has to get registered as MSME. Similarly, Government of India and all its companies, they have a 25% reservation. They have to buy all the procurement. 25% of the procurement has to be from the MSME sector. So therefore, once again, registration is important. So registration gives access to markets, government markets, protection against pay, collateral-free loans, because those are covered under the CGTMSE scheme. So for all these benefits, one must register as MSME. Professionals also. I find many of the, for example, you could be running a company like Ashish Gargan Associates or Nagendra Rao and Associates. So even yours is an MSME enterprise. It is a service enterprise, and it is micro if your turnover is less than 5 crore, and then it is small if your turnover is between 5 crore to 50 crore. So I believe most of the professionals who are independently working, whether as proprietorships or private limited, it makes no difference. All of you are micro or small entrepreneurs, and therefore you are also entitled to 45-day payment. So once you raise a bill on me and I accept the bill, and if I don't pay you in 45 days, you also get a payment protection. Similarly, collateral-free loans for your office's expansion. Similarly, other benefits that I mentioned.
Is there any scheme where MSME having less than 3 years balance sheet can avail any term loans from banks or financial institutions?
The answer is yes. Why 3 years? Even if you are a startup, even if you have no background, even if someone says, okay, Storm, tomorrow I will start manufacturing ventilators in India, there is a funding available. So, point is, most of the entrepreneurs don't know how to formally make a good presentation, how to make a good project report, and then how to choose a bank. And because choosing a bank is also very important. For example, if you want to set up a poultry farm, and if you go to a foreign bank in India, or maybe a private sector bank, I doubt if they'll give you much heed. So it all depends upon choosing the right bank also. So which trade, which bank, and how to make a good idea. So 3 years balance sheet is a myth. Even you can begin afresh. That is one. But if you have a 3-year balance sheet, then of course you have a credit history. There is a civil history. You have, and if your balance sheets are in profit, then of course you have a history of proven enterprise, and banks feel more confident in giving you loans. And loans up to 1 crore, and in some cases up to 2 crore, can be availed under the CGTMSE scheme, which means those loans will be without any collateral security or guarantee.
Sir, now with the stimulus being provided by the government, announced by the government as well as provided through banks, whether all the banks are eligible to give MSME COVID emergency fund to companies falling under MSME?
I would really like to inform everyone here, it is mandatory. It is not discretionary. The law now clearly says all financial institutions, loans outstanding as on 29th of February. Whatever is the outstanding on 29th of February, 20% additional has to be given without any additional collateral security, and this 20% will be guaranteed by Government of India. Repayment is also set, 1 year moratorium, and then payment in next 3 years, which means the total loan period is 4 years, and with 1 year moratorium. There is no processing fee, there is no pre-closure charge, you can close anytime. So it is entirely the will of the entrepreneur, the borrower, whether to take this money or not. Banks do not have a discretion. So if you have an outstanding with any bank as on 29th of February, you are entitled to 20% extra. This is the emergency credit fund.
So why retail sector is excluded from MSME registration? There are many companies who are under retail sector with a very small investment. What is your thought on it?
Okay, two, three things are very important. While it is very easy to raise an issue, and I heard Ashish Garg sir also raising the question why traders are not as MSMEs. Let me tell you, as I mentioned, MSMEs have 25% reservation in supplies to the government. So whether it is defense, railway, or any government of India company, any PSU, whatever they buy from the markets, 25% is reserved for Indian MSMEs. Now, suppose you register a trader also as MSME. So this trader also will fill up the tender because now they are the MSME. And the trader could be importing goods from China or Vietnam or Korea and then supplying to Government of India. So when Government of India registers someone as MSME and then that MSME applies for a tender, it is actually for the Indian manufactured goods. If you register traders also as MSMEs, tomorrow this reservation will become meaningless because a lot of imported goods and traded goods, I could, for example, even trade from large industry. Maybe I could buy from very large Tatas or someone else and then supply to Government of India because I am a registered MSME trader. So therefore, this kind of a registration would have a huge impact. This reservation should only be for the service sector or the manufacturing sector so as to make sure that the supplies under the government procurement program are for Indian manufactured and Indian service providers only and not traded. And because through trade organizations, even large enterprise, let us say a very large manufacturing enterprise will set up a small trading firm and then start supplying through that. So idea is that things should not be misconstrued or misused. So personally, I am against registering traders as MSMEs.
Though you had clarified, sir, in the initial remark, but still this question has repeatedly, thrice it has come. Probably, I think one or two members have joined a little bit late. To ascertain the eligibility criteria on the basis of turnover and investments, whether export turnover includes deemed exports. Though you have clarified, but I would request once again to kindly clarify.
Yeah. See, this new MSME definition, till now the MSME definition was on the basis only of investment. So a micro manufacturing enterprise was to invest only 25 lakhs, a small 25 lakh to 5 crore, and a medium enterprise 5 crore to 10 crore. And investment in plant and machinery excluded land, building, non-core areas, computers, office stationery, office equipment, furniture, other things. So which means only the investment in machines, the plant and machinery, the main core area, that is taken. So that was the definition. So a small enterprise could do a turnover of 1,000 crore also. Let us say a gems and jewelry sector. Suppose I polish diamonds and I would buy diamonds, polish and then sell. So technically the value of the trade could be very high. However, the plant and machinery was small. So small units, diamonds, diamond polishing, gems and jewelry sector, those were taken care of. This time the government has enhanced the investment limits, which is very good. Micro sector is now with machines up to 5 crore, 1 crore. Small is 1 crore to 10 crore, and medium is 10 crore to 50 crore. However, government has capped and brought in another definition on the basis of turnover, which means that if business is up to 5 crore, it is a micro. If business is up to from 5 crore to 50 crore, it is small. And if business is from 50 crore to 250 crore, it is medium. And government has excluded exports and revenues from exports as part of this definition, which means that suppose I have a turnover of 300 crore, 250 crore I export, and only 50 crore I sell domestically, then I'm still a small enterprise as per the new definition. Now, the new definition has some pluses, some minuses. So, small jewelry units, just because they sell precious diamonds, gems, and jewelry, so those units could actually be very small, maybe even micro. But just because now their turnover will be more than 50 crore, they'll be excluded from small. Second challenge that I see is, what if the turnover falls? What if last year my turnover was, let us say, 300 crore, and then the company becomes sick, and then the turnover drops and it becomes a 50 crore enterprise? So would you call, for example, Kingfisher tomorrow? Can you call Kingfisher as a micro enterprise just because it has low turnover today or very less turnover? So there are some clarifications that we are still waiting from the government, whether a unit every year would have a different rating, different classification, whether a large enterprise, just because it is losing business internationally and becoming sick or closing down, will from a large become medium, and then medium to small, and then small to micro. So some of those questions still need to be answered. But by and large, definition has brought 99.99% enterprises and entrepreneurs of India in the MSME definition.
So there are plenty of questions, but I would certainly like to ask two questions with your permission, sir.
Please.
What is plant and machinery in service sector? Can you kindly give some examples of it?
All right. That is very important. That is why I tell professionals also in service sector, when I say that Nagendra Rao and Associates now is a micro enterprise or a small enterprise, then two definitions, two things apply on you. One is your investment should be less than 1 crore if you're micro, and turnover less than 5 crore. Or investment from 1 crore to 10 crore and turnover from 5 crore to 50 crore.
Okay.
Now, what is your investment in plant and machine? Computers. So for you, computer is machinery. Now, how many computers you'll have? 1, 2, 5, 6, 10, 20, 50. So in any case, your investment in plant and machinery is less than 1 crore. So fortunately, there is a wide area to work for the professionals. So for service sector, you have to see what is your machinery. So your machinery is a laptop or a computer. For me, that is a non-core, so that is not included in my definition. For me, it is the machinery that is working in my enterprise. Let us say for logistics sector, someone who runs a taxi service or someone who runs a transportation. So for them, what is the machinery? For a taxi operator, the car is the machinery. For a truck operator, the truck is the machinery. So if someone has trucks less than 10 crore, it's a small service enterprise, and more than 10 crore, it becomes medium enterprise. So I'm sure many of these circulars and clarifications will come as the work progresses. But then service sector has to be defined on the basis of what it's serving, and then you have to see what is their plant and machine.
Sir, one final question. The minister spoke about equity infusion, as well as you also spoke about the equity infusion. So in that context, what could generally be the outline procedure or a process involved to get this equity infusion?
In fact, instead of answering one question, I'm making it two questions. And now I'm going to give you answers to two. There are two, in fact, this package has three important schemes. One is to existing borrowers give 20% extra on their outstanding as on 29th of February. This is for the good regular SMEs. Good regular SMEs, they get 20% extra as emergency fund. Second is the stressed SMEs or the NPAs. sick MSMEs, units already facing sickness or already NPA. Can we help them revive? For them, Government of India has announced a very special scheme, and it is called Subordinated Debt Scheme. So, in the Subordinated Debt Scheme, if very simply, if I define, and I'll define with an example. Suppose there is an enterprise which has a loan of 5 crore, and the enterprise has become sick and NPA. Now the entrepreneur thinks that enterprise can be revived. But the entrepreneur needs 1 crore at this stage to help the business revive. Now the entrepreneur can go to the bank and say that you gave me 5 crore and the unit is NPA. However, if I get 1 crore additional, I would be able to revive the company. Now, of course, the banker would study the proposal. And if the proposal is acceptable to the bank, then the bank may agree to give 80% loan, which is 80 lakh rupees. 20 lakh rupees entrepreneur has to bring in. Now, suppose and the entrepreneur does not even have 20 lakh rupees. So just because the entrepreneur does not have 20 lakh additional, so he would not get 80 lakh and the unit continues to remain sick. To help entrepreneur raise this additional equity of 20 lakh, additional equity as promoter's contribution, subordinate debt will give 75% of this additional promoter equity, which means out of 20 lakh, 15 lakh rupees will also come as a loan. So entrepreneur gives only 5 lakh, subordinate debt gives 15 lakhs. This 15 lakhs will not be treated as debt. It will be treated as an equity, as promoter's contribution. And then 80 lakh rupees can be raised from the bank. So practically it is a 95% loan for revival of the bank, out of which 50% is treated as part of the equity. So this is the subordinated debt scheme. Third scheme, which you asked me, was the equity infusion. 50,000 crore mother of funds and daughter of funds. This is the earlier regular. One scheme was for regular SMEs. Second, I mentioned for sick SMEs. And this third scheme, this mother of funds scheme, this is for high potential, high growth MSMEs. MSMEs which have huge potential for growth. MSMEs where government would not like to give debt, they would like to put equity. So in this third case, the opportunity is for high growth MSMEs, great startup ideas, new technology companies, health sector companies, someone making ventilators, someone making vaccinations, maybe for COVID or something else tomorrow. So any MSME that has a high growth potential and chances to grow very fast for them. So instead of raising debt, they get money as equity. Such MSMEs, of course, after certain period would get listed, and of course the government would buy back, or the entrepreneur has to buy back the equity. So the point is that the third scheme which you mentioned is actually that can lead to the SME stock exchange also for future listings, future evaluations, where the initial investor invests not as a debt but as equity.
Sir, thank you very much for such a lucid presentation, not only lucid, to the point, as well as detailed, elaborate presentation with regards to MSME. It is now my pleasant task to propose the vote of thanks to you, sir. You started with that the first inning is over, the second inning is beginning. It is always said that when the in the toughest of times, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And when the tough gets going, you highlighted various things about the consumption incentives needs to be improved, investment incentives needs to be provided, more technology subsidies to be given, waiver of prepayment charges, interest waiver or moratorium with regards to the interest to be provided, unemployment to self-employment. You spoke about the individual mobility. You spoke about the new skills. You talked about new technology, the financial literacy, team building. Skill is the new currency. Size does not matter. Speed matters. Speed of change, adaptability. I am sure that with your knowledge and ICSI partnering, and we as a knowledge center, we can provide one-stop solution. As you yourself told that what you can do alone, do all together. I am sure that we all together, all the professionals, with your help, with your support, and you being one of the coach, chief mentors for various MSME, I am sure that what we talked about hub and spoke model, what you talk about reset, refocus, and restart, I am sure that MSME will refocus and restart with more rejuvenation, with more energy, with positive intent and positive mind. Thank you very much for your presentation and sparing your valuable time for almost more than 2 hours with us. I would request Dr. Nikhat Khan to kindly display Shahid Ki Beti certificate to Mr. Rajiv Chawla ji. Dr. Nikhat Khan. Dr. Nikhat Khan, kindly display the Shahid Ki Beti certificate.
So while he does it, let me also thank you for inviting me to interact with your professionals, the young upcoming company secretaries, and of course veteran professionals like Ashish ji, like you, my very close friend Hitendra Mehta. So many I keep working with. My only call to you would be that let us company secretaries to become trainers for the MSME. So let us start a TOT, the Train the Trainers program. Then let us train company secretaries so that they become trainers for the MSME sectors in future.
Surely, sir. Surely. So once again, I wish to thank you for sparing your valuable time and sharing such a useful presentation. I also would like to thank all the esteemed members and students for participating in this webinar and making a grand success. I also thank Dr. Nikhat Khan, the head of the information technology, for providing all the assistance, support from time to time. We look forward for many more webinars, and I would request to kindly join the webinar on Wednesday, which in the evening, where Dr. Kiran Bedi will be there along with us, Honorable Governor of Puducherry. Thank you once again. Stay home. Now with unlocking 2, which has taken place, I am sure all of us would be going to offices and performing our duties with new rejuvenation, and I'm sure that we will bring laurels to everyone. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.